Good evening, CHCO viewers. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope everybody's excited. I know I am. If any of you has been watching or keeping an eye on the Facebook pages, we have a full kitchen tonight. And the reason we have a full kitchen is because we are going to be doing some cooking, some food preparations with my lovely guest, my first female guest, Chef Melanie Gullison. How are you, Chef Gullison?
Good. A little nervous, but...
You're a little nervous.
Yeah.
Tell me why you're nervous. Because I make you nervous.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, well,
very much
I have
so.
that effect on women. See, because usually I have men on, and I never make men nervous. But women, yeah, they're scared to death of me because I'm so creepy. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so tell us why you're nervous.
Oh, well, I haven't been on TV before.
You've never been on TV before,
No.
but you are a legitimate chef.
Yeah,
You don't seem too sure of yourself.
well, I cook food.
You cook food.
Yeah, it's the chef title, I guess. I own my own company, so I am the chef of that, yes.
And what's the name of your company?
RockSalt Catering.
Okay, and you do catering where?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Yeah, I go wherever people need me to. I will be doing some catering in the Miramichi coming up. That's probably the farthest that I'll have to go. It's mostly St. Stephen and St. Andrews.
So mostly in the Charlotte County
Yeah.
area. And let's go back a bit. We'll start at the beginning.
Okay.
Why did you start? Because I'm always fascinated by this. As you know, you and I love food, especially me. Well, no, I know you love food as much as I do, but I love eating it.
Yes.
But tell us how you got into all this, because I know this is a passion that I think you've had for a long time. So take us through the steps.
Well, we'll go way, way back, 15 years. And my first job in a kitchen was dishwasher at Carmen's Diner in St. Stephen. So they gave me my start. And one day, one of the cooks had to go, so they asked me if I wanted to learn how to cook. And I said, sure. So that's where I got my start. And I've worked at a few other places in St. Stephen, Pizza Delight, St. Jerome's, that's not there anymore. And then I worked at Camo's in Penfield, Harbor Road Pub in Penfield. And then Kingsbury Arms in St. Andrews. It's an inn and a restaurant. Yeah. And then I decided to go back to culinary school, or not back, to culinary school at MBCC, and that was the turnaround point in my life. It was the best thing I ever did. And when I graduated there, I went to Kingsbury Garden and worked with Chef Han. And after that, I was at the Five Kings Brew Pub with Chef Lisa Aronson, and now I'm back doing my own thing. Okay,
so you've given us a very detailed account of your life. They call that a CV.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
It's Latin.
It's Latin for something. Yeah, but you know what? It really doesn't matter. But here's where I guess I'm interested in. So you started out in Carmen's, and we all know Carmen's because they a great diner in St. Stephen, and you started washing dishes. Did you wash dishes by hand?
Some, the pots and pans you have to, but there's also the dishwasher.
Because why I'm asking is because I often wonder, like if I stiff somebody for a bill and they say you got to wash the dishes, do I get to use a dishwasher or do I do that myself?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stiff anybody. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Yeah, there's a dishwasher. It's actually fun to wash dishes in restaurants because there's a big hose to spray the dishes all off. You push it through and it only takes maybe a minute or two for a cycle, not like the home jobs.
At that time when you were working there, were you loving food, or was food on your radar, or did you enjoy watching cooking shows? Or
yeah, well, I don't think the Food Network was really a big thing back then, so I didn't watch a lot of cooking shows, but I always loved to cook with my mom and my Aunt Doreen. She cooked a lot and I liked to help her, so I always did like it. And then once they taught me how to work the line at Carmen's, it was kind of love at first sight. You get the excitement in a restaurant. There's not really much else like it.
Right. Yeah. So you were preparing breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, and breakfast.
Or is it called supper here? I never know what to say.
Either.
Either or.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at 3 meals a day. What's your favorite meal of the day? I know
Mine?
what the most important is, but what's your favorite?
Supper,
Supper.
I guess. Or I should say midnight snack. That's
Midnight.
when you work in restaurants, usually the only meal you have is midnight snack.
Because,
when you get
yeah,
home.
you're working.
Yeah.
When I'm eating, when I'm out in the dining room enjoying a great meal that you've prepared, you're working. This is your time to be out there and work. And it's hard work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
For all the kids out there that want to become a chef, it's not an easy ride.
No, you really have to love it, or there's not much point in doing it, because we don't do it for money. We don't make a lot of money at it, and it is back-breaking work sometimes, so you really have to love to cook if you want to become a chef.
Yeah, because you're on your feet all the time.
12, 14 hours a day
You're working
sometimes.
with sharp knives. You're in an environment that's really uncomfortable and hot. So what's good about it?
Well, what's good about it is you're doing all this to create amazing food that
Yeah.
makes people happy. That's why I love to do it. If you send that plate out, and when people say that's the best meal you've ever had, it makes it all worth it, really.
That's where you draw your love for it from.
Yep.
Okay, so now you're back to catering for. Now, what do you cater? Weddings and I was going to say funerals. I guess you don't cater funerals, do you?
Some people might.
Yeah. You haven't done one of those
no,
yet?
not yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, weddings. I had a fun little idea over the Christmas season. I did some parties where I taught people how to make a certain dish, went into their homes and kind of did a house party where they did the cooking, really, but I showed them how to do it, and that was a lot of fun. I'm going to be starting soon a new sort of house party. I'm going to go in a partnership with Alex Reed, who has a bartending company, and he makes really amazing drinks. So we're going to get that going really soon, where we're both going to go in. Instead of having to go out in the cold, dreary winter, we'll come to you and make you drinks and make you supper, and you can stay home with your friends and have a good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Melanie is here to help us. She's going to be preparing some Super Bowl apps, because next week is Super Bowl Sunday. If anybody has any questions, please call us in at 1-855-529-8826. Melanie will be asking you any question you want regarding food. Oh, and as a matter of fact, we have a caller on already.
Oh.
And we have Bobby. Are you there, Bobby?
I'm here.
How are you this evening?
I'm great. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. And what is your question for Chef Melanie?
Well, I would like to know, is it intimidating being a woman working in the kitchen?
No. I'm not intimidated very easily by anybody. There have been maybe a few people that have intimidated me, but no, I don't really look at myself as a girl in the kitchen. I just look at myself as another cook. Probably the biggest challenge with being a woman in this industry is the family aspect. It's hard to have kids and work 12 hours a day, sometimes 7 days a week. But no, I'm not intimidated. I love to work with guys and girls. I work more with men in a kitchen, though, because there are definitely a lot more.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Can I throw in something here, Bobby, that you should know?
Sure.
I've worked with Melanie a few times, and Melanie is great in the kitchen. She knows how to direct. Because you got to understand, I don't know anything about the kitchen. Well, I do. I like working in the kitchen, but I've never worked in a professional environment. And she was great. She was great at giving direction. She was never tough on me. I mean, there was that one time I think she threw a knife at me, but that was another matter. But I think she's very a fair worker in the kitchen, and I think she treats everybody the same. And it was a great honor to work under you. Can I say that? Is that under you? I don't know.
That sounds like a kitchen joke. That
Yeah.
we shouldn't talk about
Well,
on
I got to
live
watch what
TV.
I say here. But no, she's fantastic, and I don't think that she's the type of person that would ever look at men or women in a different way.
Absolutely not. Well, thank you so much. You're doing great, Chef.
Thank you for calling, Bobby. Do you have any other questions, or is that it?
No, that was great. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
Awesome job, guys.
So what is your favorite thing to do in the kitchen? Like, is it like chopping carrots, or is it deep frying potatoes, or like is there a special machine you just love to work with?
No.
Appliance, I guess I should say.
Not really an appliance. My favorite thing to do is make sauces. That's in big kitchens, they have different stations, and if I ever worked in a big kitchen, I would love to be a saucier. That's
a saucier.
That's
is
the
like
name of it.
ketchup and stuff?
Well, you can make homemade ketchup, yes, that is a sauce.
Well, you're probably doing fancy things. Fancy sauce. I think that's ketchup and mayonnaise.
Yeah. But that's my favorite. I love to make desserts when I have the time, and it's a really calm environment, which it's not a lot of the times in a restaurant kitchen, but when there is time to put a lot of love into desserts, I like to make those as well.
Now, and I don't, some people may know or not know, you're a vegetarian.
I am.
How do you feel about working with meat?
Well, I'm okay with it. I wish the whole world would be vegetarian,
Right.
at least for a couple days a week. It would do so much for our environment in a positive way if everybody didn't eat meat a few days a week. But people love their meat, and so I don't mind cooking it. I think the best thing I can do for the animal is to cook it and make it so delicious that it does the animal justice. It didn't
Right.
die for no reason, right? You don't want to burn a steak and then the cow had to die for nothing.
Right. But even though you're a vegetarian, you know how to cook a steak, because I've had steaks that you've cooked before, and they were awesome. There was no problems there. But it's always interesting to me. There are a lot of chefs apparently that are vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah, yeah. There are. It's hard because you have to taste the food, and so you can't really be a true vegetarian when you're tasting meat. A lot of it just comes by instinct, really, like cooking the steak, because I don't think I've eaten a steak in my life ever.
Really?
Well, I became a vegetarian when I was 7 years
Wow.
old, so unless I had a steak that I don't remember before that, I've never had one, so it's just kind of instinct that you go with, and it works out, I guess.
And what is your favorite food to prepare?
Mexican food, tacos. I love to make tacos, or pizza. Simple things, really.
Yeah.
Because it's simple, so everything has to be good. You know, on the pizza, the mushrooms have to be really good, and the onions. When you get into really complicated food, you can hide things a lot more.
And what's your favorite thing to eat?
The same.
Same thing.
I guess
was
that's
gonna
why.
say, yeah.
That's why I like to make it. Because,
okay, so you love to make what you love to eat,
Yeah.
which is pizzas and Mexican food.
yeah, tacos.
Right. Now, you were saying a little bit earlier at Christmas time, you were going to people's houses and preparing food.
Yeah.
And the point of this was that you asked them, what do you want me to prepare for you? And what was give us a few examples of what people were asking you to prepare.
Well, all of the parties except for one wanted to learn to make beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington?
Yeah, they did. And the other ones, they wanted jerk chicken. So we had to kind of Jamaican-themed meal for that one.
So you had jerk chicken and beef Wellington.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know nothing about beef Wellington. So why don't I ask you one more time? Take us through the steps. How do you make beef Wellington?
Well, you have a beef tenderloin, really expensive, good piece of meat, and you just sear that, and then kind of make a paste with mushrooms, cut them really small with some thyme and different things, cook them down. You put that. Wait, I'm getting mixed up with my steps. You put the puff pastry down, put prosciutto down, which is a sort of ham, really thin ham,
Yeah.
and then spread the mushroom, mix on top, put the meat on, roll it up, bake it in the oven. It's pretty easy to do.
And that's something that's very popular apparently in Charlotte County.
Yeah, people like it.
Because like you said, we were talking about it at Christmas time, and you said that it's unusual that many people would have an interest in beef Wellington.
Well, kind of, but I think it comes from Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
I think a lot of people watch that show and they make that dish on there.
Now that's the Gordon Ramsay show.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? I got to ask you that.
Oh, I think it's all staged, really. The people messing up the dishes so he can holler, because if you if you've worked in a kitchen like all these people supposedly have that are on the show, then you wouldn't overcook the scallops that way, and you wouldn't burn things as much as they do on that show. So I think it's kind of fake.
Yeah. Now, I know, again, when I was working with you, you occasionally, like I said, you threw a knife at me or a boiling pot of bacon fat or something. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You were always just delightful. Because you and I, again, have talked about this sort of attitude that on television, some of these chefs come off really hard-handed. And I think they're scaring kids away from wanting to get into this profession, or alternatively, they're giving them a bad message that it's okay to go into a kitchen, start swearing, starting to belittle people, starting to be really mean to them, mean-spirited, and this is not something we want to convey to people that want to get into this this profession.
No, I don't really. It really was that way back in France. I don't know, like 100 years ago, and from there, some of the French chefs were really harsh on the apprentices, and that's how they did it. You break them and then rebuild them the way you want them to be. And that's carried down because those apprentices eventually would become chefs of their own, and they were taught to be that way to their underlings, and so it's been carried on. But I think that it's changing now, that a lot of chefs are not trying to be that way anymore, which is good. The chefs that I had at school, my instructors, Chef Dave and Chef Darren, they taught me how to be a good person in the kitchen. You don't have to be that way, because I had the notion that that's what it was like in kitchens, because that's all I had seen on TV was, the crazy chefs screaming. But Chef Dave and Darren taught me that people have to want to work for you, or you're never going to be successful. People will keep leaving your kitchen, and I feel that I get a lot more out of my employees when I make them feel worthy instead of making them feel like, dirt under my shoe.
Okay, well, what I'm going to ask you then, Melanie, is to make me feel worthy. We're going to go over to our kitchen set. We're going to take a short break.
Yes.
And we'll be preparing. You've got something in mind. I don't know what. But we'll start doing some prep after we take a break. Again, if anybody wants to call in, please do. I'm with Chef Melanie Gullison, and the number here is 855-529-8826, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the RobPatry Show. While Chef Melanie Gullison is preparing some interesting and delicious food over there, I've got a couple of special guests on with me. I've got Brett Esty and Matt Dickinson from the band Free Trade. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Rob.
Well, thanks for coming by. It's been a bit of a special surprise. This is a special evening, and why don't you tell us why you're here?
You can start, I guess.
We're here to let everybody know about a benefit that we're holding next Saturday for one of our former band members who's going through a bit of a rough time right now, battling cancer.
And which band member is this? What's his name?
Kevin McCartney.
Kevin McCartney.
He played with us for 10 years.
For 10 years. Now, how long has Free Trade been together?
Just about 20.
20 years. So for half the life of the band, Kevin was there.
Yes.
So an integral part of the band.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what he's been going through in the last little while.
Well, it was a year ago, September, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It's in his lining of his stomach and his bile ducts. So it's inoperable, but they are doing treatments, and he's,
He's fighting it really
Fighting
good.
it good, yeah.
Doing a heck of a job.
And I suspect he's not working right now.
No, it is not.
So the money situation is such that you guys decided we're going to do a benefit.
Yes.
And when is the benefit?
It's next Saturday night.
Next Saturday night.
St. Stephen Legion.
Okay.
And it's 9 to 1.
Yeah.
And you can get tickets, they're $10 a piece, and you can get them at Coastal Realty in St. Stephen or
Carmen's Diner in St. Stephen.
Okay, so you can pick up tickets there to see the band.
Yes.
Now, is there a limited number of seats? I've been in the Legion. It's not the largest place. I don't think we get in hundreds.
We printed
but
up 250 tickets.
okay,
So we
most of them are the sales are doing well.
Yes, and we urge people at these two places. There's also donations. So if you don't plan on attending but you'd like to donate, you can donate at these places, and then so that way the tickets are available for people that actually want to go to the show. So
Okay, so if you're unavailable to go to the show, but you'd still like to donate to Kevin and his family, you can either go to Carmen's or again to Coastal Realty,
make a
and they've got, well, that's wonderful. That's really great that you guys are doing this. So obviously, the band's a really close unit, and I've been fortunate enough to see you a few times. It's a great band. What type of music do you play? I know what type you play, but for the folks in the audience that may not know, tell us a bit about the type of music you guys play.
Good old-fashioned rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
I'd have to say 75% of it's like 80s one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
We do some new stuff and an occasional country song, but we're a rock and roll.
You're a
band.
rock and roll band. And what instruments do you guys play?
I'm a drummer.
You're the drummer.
And I'm the bass player.
So you're the rhythm section.
Absolutely.
So you're I think you had mentioned before, you're the bones. You're the foundation of the
Yeah.
band. Would you say you're the two most important guys? You don't want to say that. I'm putting words in your mouth.
Yes. No, well, you
Yeah.
know what, though?
We put it this way. We've been together the longest. We've
Yeah.
gone through a ton of guitar players and a ton of singers. So
Yeah.
we're still together. So
Yeah.
we get locked in. It's a fun night when we're locked in together.
And of course, this is like an extra special night.
Absolutely.
Because not only are you having a chance to play, but you're also helping out Kevin and his family. That's just wonderful. And how are they doing?
they're hanging.
I mean, as best as obviously.
They're hanging in there, and I'd also like to say that as I said, we've played with tons of guitar players. Some very talented guitar players. But I would have to say, and Maddie would probably agree, Kevin is probably the nicest guitar player we've played with. I mean, he's just,
No attitudes. No, just he's a good guy. He was always on my right. He was always on my side of the stage, and we'd be playing, and he'd come over and put his head on my shoulder, and try and nibble on my ear for some reason. I never did quite figure out why.
Plus, he was a good-looking guy too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the girls come out to see Kevin. So,
Right. So, because I know they're not coming out to see you two.
Oh no, not the drummer and the
Right.
bass
You're
player.
not. You're not attracting anybody with those two mugs.
We're the backbone of the band, the best ones in the band, but we're the, I don't know how you say it. We want to stay away from the drummer and the bass
Right,
player.
right.
Yeah.
It's just trouble. Just trouble waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So it's at the Legion in St. Stephen. Again, you probably mentioned it. We'll say again. How much are tickets?
$10.
$10 each. And does that entire amount go to the family?
Yeah, we're doing this. Everything that's made from this is going to the family, and I believe my wife Tanya is going to have. She's organizing a silent auction too.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
people have already donated.
So tell us a bit about that. Give us a bit of information
I'm
about
not
the
sure
silent
how it's going to
auction.
work, if it's going to be before or they're going to do it during the show, but lots of places in the community, even somebody from St. John yesterday, a friend of mine dropped off some 5 or 6 cards. It's nights away for like hotels and stuff like
okay,
that. So
cool.
there'll be stuff like that. There'll be like food type certificates. Just a lot of people are donating stuff that we can sell off, have an auction for it, and
Be a 50-50 draw as well.
yeah, we'll have a 50-50
Okay,
draw.
and then the folks can buy a drink there and
Yes, yeah.
enjoy the night.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it's going to be a full-on rock show for sure.
Oh, that's great. Now, I know that the bands in town in Charlotte County, it's a close, small community of guys, and I know you guys are all very close to each other and support each other and do whatever you can to help each other. And I think that's marvelous. You're both to be commended.
Well,
and the whole band.
It's the least thing we could do, because, I mean, free trade, from the start, we try to do 2 or 3 of these a year for people that need it, and Kevin was a big part of that. I mean, he was always, I'm in. You know, if somebody needed it, then.
We've done other people that have had cancer, families that their house is burnt down.
Right.
But this one was just really personal, and we're said,
This one hits home.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, and I'm not stating anything that, you know, everybody doesn't already know, but cancer is a horrible, terrible disease, and something that almost all of us at some point are affected by through family members, through friends, and it's, you know, something debilitating that cuts you off from everybody, you know. And when you're both working, as they are or were, all of a sudden that constant stream of money isn't coming in. And they have children?
Two small boys.
Two small boys, right. So this is a young fella.
Yeah, he's barely into his 40s.
Jeez, that's, you know, you really want to go out and support this, because I think it's not only a lot of fun, because like I said, I've seen the band a lot of times, and you guys are amazing. Really good rock and roll.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good 80s music, good dancing music.
Come to think of it, you even run the lights for us one night.
I did, yeah. Well, you know, we won't even talk about that, because as I recall, Matt, you were red most of the night, and I think you weren't under the light at all. So it was after I had one gig, and then I was fired after that, as I recall.
And you still had us on here.
Actually, I know. Well, that's, you know what? There's no hard feelings.
That's good.
And no, that's wonderful. Now, maybe have you got anybody introducing the band?
Oh, we thought maybe you could do it.
Me?
You
want me? From RobPatry, from RobPatry Live on CHCO.
You had us on here, and you're helping promote this great cause, and who better to have us?
Well, I would be honored to do that. So have we run over or gone over everything? The fact that it's going to be at the Legion this coming Saturday, which is the 4th, I believe.
4th of February, yeah.
Just the night before Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So you're going to pack in a whole weekend of fun and entertainment.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Man, that sounds like a good weekend.
Get yourself ready for primed for
there's
Sunday.
another thing you forgot on Sunday is RobPatry Live.
That's right.
Yeah, because you also have that to remember.
You get prime Saturday night at our show, and then you can go home and watch
and
Rob
prepare
live.
for the next night.
Yes.
So the Legion, $10 a ticket.
Carmen's Diner or Coastal Realty.
Coastal and Carmen's.
If you can't attend the show, don't buy a ticket, but you're more than welcome to make a donation at either of those places. And if you're looking for a ticket, you can contact one of the band members. Everybody knows who we are.
Yeah, and the donations are important, folks. So I mean, you know, obviously they'd love to have you out and see the show, but if you can't, please make a donation. This is a very important way to help the family.
Yes, that without a doubt. Like you say, when you're used to having 2 people working, and then, you know, one's not working, the other one's staying home to look after the person. Everyone knows what it's like in the winter. The bills stack up, whether it's the heat bill or your Christmas presents.
Yeah.
You know, it's a rough time of year for people that are healthy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, Matt, thank you very much for coming in. Brett, thank you for coming in. We're going to be right back in a few moments with Melanie Gullison. We'll be preparing some apps again for Super Bowl. And I just wanted to thank again my 2 guests for coming in and talking about this really important event happening next Saturday. We'll be right back. All right, we're back in the CHCO kitchen. Isn't this like amazing? We have a kitchen. Isn't this beautiful? I want to thank the production crew for doing this amazing job for us today. They built a kitchen out of nothing. So, Chef Melanie, I know I keep calling you Chef Melanie. You don't like that, do you?
Fine.
Melanie's fine. All right, I start calling you Melanie's fine. Melanie, what are you doing for us today? And thank you for waiting while Brett and Matt were here.
Oh, that's not a problem. Kevin and Judy are great people, and I hope a lot of people come.
They really are, and I'm sure they're going to get a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next Sunday, if you don't know it, is Super Bowl Sunday. Now, Super Bowl Sunday to me means lots of food, lots of beer, lots of yelling and screaming and going nuts. So, what kind of food are you gonna suggest that we do tonight?
Well, it was actually a bit of a challenge to figure out what to make because Super Bowl food is Super Bowl food. Nachos, chicken wings, that's what people love, that's what they want. So I didn't really want to do anything too crazy or fancy. So what I've decided to do is kind of a mashup of two Super Bowl foods, put them together to make a new one. So the first dish that we're going to do is pulled pork potato skins.
Pulled pork potato skins.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this something you're doing and I can watch?
No, you're gonna do some
I'm
work
gonna
too.
do some too. So we're both doing it.
Dirty here.
Now,
Yeah.
I see we got like knives and board. Are we having like a little race here, like the fastest guy gets it done, or nothing like that?
No, I don't want you to cut your fingers off.
All right.
That'll be dangerous.
So I'll just Okay,
Yeah.
so what do? I do what you do? I take your potato, or I get my own potato?
Get your own potato.
Okay, so I got a potato.
So these are pre-boiled.
This is a potato, everybody. It's a red potato, and it's cooked. This,
Yes,
you've already
I boiled them ahead of time.
Is it called parboil? Or
no,
boil?
because it's completely
fully
cooked through.
okay.
Yeah, and I picked the red potatoes just because they're a bit smaller because we're doing appetizer size. But you could do this dish with the bigger potatoes as well.
Okay, can you do this with a turnip?
Yeah, you probably could.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked that, but
I'm not
my
sure if I'd
mind
wanna
is all
eat
over.
the-
I'm so excited about the kitchen. Okay, so you start and I'll follow
Okay.
through.
So cut it in half.
Okay, cut it in half. Okay, got it. Now what do I do?
And then cut it in half again, so into quarters.
Okay, so like here?
Nope.
No?
No.
Do I flip it over?
Yeah, flip it over. That'll make it
Okay,
easier. And then just right in the
this
middle.
way?
Nope.
No,
The other way.
The way okay, here. All right, so we're gonna cut it there, and then we're gonna cut it there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got 4 potatoes.
Yep, and then flip it over.
Flip it
and
over.
Then you just have to take most of the flesh out.
Okay, you remember this game where you used to have to do like, what's it under,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to put the knife here, then I get the little knife.
Yep, take the little knife.
And then I take the potato part out.
Yeah, just leave enough so that it stays sturdy
So
and
you
can
got the
hold
skin.
pork. Yeah.
Because we're
So-
making potato skins.
Yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
so I just throw this away?
Well, I wouldn't throw it away. I'd make potato salad with it or soup or something.
Okay.
It's no good to waste food.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good job. You'd think you've worked in the kitchen before or something.
I think I got a problem here.
That's okay.
See, now you got me all nervous.
That's okay.
See, you said at the beginning of the show you were nervous. Now I'm nervous.
Yes,
okay.
now I'm in my element. I'm fine.
Okay, now you're fine. Now-
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut that like that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so there we're making another one. Okay,
Yep.
so I'm almost done my last skin. When I was a kid, now, I was going to say I'm a lot older than you, but I'm not that much older, a couple of years anyway.
A few.
But when I was a kid, I don't ever remember potato skins. Like that, all of a sudden that happened. I wonder why. Because everybody used to peel the potatoes.
Yeah.
And they just throw the skin away.
Well, that's probably how they became invented. A chef
But
was-
somebody said we should be doing something with the skins.
Yeah,
But
instead
it
of
really,
throwing away.
when you have skin, I mean, it's just like it's like cheese, melted cheese, and bacon, and onion, and sour cream, and there's like a whole pile of bad stuff that
No,
they've.
that's all good.
That's all good stuff. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So now what do I do?
Okay, so.
Am I finished here? Can I go back to my desk?
No, not at all. We're
Not
just
yet.
getting
All
started.
right, all right.
Okay, so next, what we would do with these if we were home is brush them with some oil and put them in the oven for about 15 minutes until they're crispy.
Okay.
But
We're
we
not.
we have the magic of television in this
Right.
studio.
All right.
So
Okay.
I'm going to step out. And
You're going to step over
Yes.
there.
And so we have some that are already
Oh,
crispy.
look at that.
Yes, I
Here,
know.
I'll show that to the camera here. Look, can you see that? So there's our finished potato. Now, you know what? And of course, we don't have smell-o-vision yet, but that smells like potato skins.
Yeah.
Is that what it should smell like?
It should, because that's what it is.
That's what it is. All right. Okay, so
Okay.
now what do we do?
So now I have pulled pork that I made earlier.
Well, okay, now, but okay, I gotta slow you down here because we're gonna miss some elements and key elements of this cooking thing. How did you make this?
Well, I just took a pork roast, like a pork butt,
Yeah.
and put it in the oven with some barbecue sauce and chicken stock and let it cook slowly at 300 degrees for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then you take it out and it just shreds. You can
Now,
do
do you use a fork to do that? Because that's what I've seen them do on TV.
You can.
What do you
Excuse
use?
me. I just use my hands.
You just use your hands.
It's easier.
It's
yeah.
easier. Okay, but it's still considered pulled pork. You
Yeah.
don't change the name because you didn't use a fork.
No.
All right. Okay.
No. So,
So we take the pork out
yeah.
and then you put it on there.
Yeah, put some
Okay.
on each.
All right, can I do this too?
Yes, you can.
All right. All right, so we'll put some on there. Geez, that smells awfully good. So now, are you a fan of this? Are you going to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday?
Well, actually, I won't be because I'm going to go and help cook at the Super Bowl party at the Civic Center.
Oh, at the Garcelon.
Yeah, they're having
Oh,
a Super Bowl
I
party
know
there.
that.
Yeah. So I'm going to be in the kitchen making some fun Super Bowl food with a few other really fun people, and that's what I'll be doing. So no, I won't be watching the Super Bowl.
And do I know any of these? Are these fun people I know? Because I love fun people. Nobody's more fun than me.
Yeah, well, one is I heard Derek O'Brien is going to be in the
Derek?
kitchen cooking with me. Yeah, so I'm not
Cool.
sure. The other person's name is Mark, I believe.
Mark.
I don't know him, but I heard he's fun as well.
Okay, so you're at the Super Bowl party at the Garcelon, and you're making food for the folks that are out there. So you're not going to get to see the game at all, but
No.
you don't care because of course you do. Who's your team? Who's your favorite team?
I-
Not your favorite. I mean, who's going to win?
Well,
do you think?
Well, my favorite football team is the St. Stephen Silverados. That's my son's team.
Your son's team, but they're not in the Super Bowl.
No, not yet. I'm going to say the Patriots are going to win because I have a lot of friends that love the Patriots. So if I didn't say that, they might be angry with me. So I'm
So
going
you're
to
going to say
the
Patriots. Now,
Yeah.
have we got a call? We don't have a call. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
you know what? So there's a fella in my ear here interrupting me, so I got to stop and I got to say the phone number, or if not, I could get fired. So,
Sure.
and then there's nothing to watch. Yeah, if anybody wants to call in and ask Melanie a question or me a question, because I can help too. The number is 855-529-8826, and she is prepared to answer anything about any cooking questions at all, not necessarily what we're doing here. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So please call in. We brought in a professional chef here. We built the kitchen. We spent a lot of money and a lot of time. We need you to call in. So call in. All right, I've done my duty.
Okay.
What's next?
So next, we're going to put a little bit of mustard. You can use any mustard that you have.
Right.
I like Dijon mustards or
You
granny
know what I
mustards a
like?
little
I
better.
like that yellow stuff. I put
French's
that.
mustard?
Yes, I put that on hot. Would that be suitable?
If you like that,
Okay.
yeah. I think that's it tastes a little harsh, but
Okay.
if that's what you like, you can.
Okay, so you do whatever you want.
Yeah, just a little bit on each one.
Okay.
If I hadn't forgot to put this on first, it would have went on first before the pork.
Because then the pork would have glued to the potato.
Yes, but I forgot, so we're going to put it on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're very delicate at this.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's okay. All right. Sorry.
That's okay.
You know what? Well,
Yeah.
I'll let you do the rest.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I'll
See, this is why. Remember, I think you yelled at me once before for doing this in the kitchen.
That must have been when I threw that knife.
That was
Yeah.
probably it. Yeah. You said go easy on the condiments. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go.
So there,
Okay,
we have some of that
beautiful.
on.
Okay,
And
so
then
now what?
All we have to do is put a little bit of shredded cheese.
Shredded cheese. Did you shred this yourself?
I did,
Now I
yes.
got to ask you something. Okay, because I know people are always asking me this. They come up to me and they say, Rob, what do you think about that pre-shredded bag of cheese? Is that a good idea, or should we be shredding our own cheese
Well,
in this day and age?
I won't say that I haven't bought the pre-shredded cheese before. It's more convenient, but how I try to look at food when I'm going to buy it is if you take cheese in the block, shred it, and leave it in a bag in your fridge for a certain amount of time, is it going to look like the shredded cheese that comes in the bag already? It's
Right.
not. So they've done something to it, added something to make it stay.
Yeah, because this
and have
looks
that appearance.
like homemade shredded,
Yeah, so
like Mother used to make.
yeah.
Well, actually, my mother didn't shred cheese, but no, that's a whole other story.
So it's better to buy. It's cheaper too if you just buy it and shred it yourself.
Okay.
And I don't know for sure that there's any extra additives in it, but I'm assuming there probably is.
So now we've got, you know what, I don't know why these look like little oysters to me. I don't know. Okay, so.
So if you were home and had an oven in your kitchen, you could put them.
Which we do at home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You could put them back in the oven just for maybe 5 minutes until the cheese melts. But we have a microwave here, so we'll put them in the microwave.
And what about these things? What are these?
This is crispy fried onions, the ones that come in a can. We're going to put those on after the cheese
put
melts.
That after.
Yeah, because that adds
if you put it on now, it's going to get all soft and mushy.
And those are just there for the crunch factor.
So again, well, it's not our finished product. But we're going to show that here's before we put it in the microwave, then we're going to melt cheese and we'll show you what it looks like after.
Yes.
Okay, so you want me to do this?
Yes, please.
Okay. I hope I'm not standing in a puddle of water or anything here, because this is an easy way to get electrocuted. Okay, how much time do we need here?
30 seconds should be fine.
Okay, I'm going to, Jack came and closed the door. Okay, so I'm going to go 100, and I'm going to press start. We'll see what happens. Okay, so now while that's going on, what's next?
The next one we're going to do is, it's called Cuban nachos, I guess. It's kind of a mix of nachos and a Cuban sandwich.
Okay.
The Cuban sandwich is probably my favorite sandwich to make, even though it has 2 types of meat in it, and I don't like to eat it.
So what, you just omit the meat, or?
No, I don't eat it. I just like to make them. I like the flavors that are in it.
You like the flavors, but you don't eat them. Have you been to Cuba?
No, not yet. I will go someday. Dominican Republic, I've been there.
Yeah.
That's great. And soon I'm going to Mexico.
You know, Fidel just passed away.
I didn't know that.
He did, yeah, Mr. Castro. And apparently one of his favorite things was a Cuban sandwich to eat. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, so don't let me slow you down. Don't let me slow you down.
Well,
what do I do? Oh, we're just going to wait for this to happen?
Yeah, we're going to wait for that.
Okay.
Garnish it up. You can
All right.
maybe do a better job with that than the mustard.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I'd say
it smells awfully good. Oh, look at that. Well, you know what? It looks almost exactly the same as when it went in.
Yeah, just the cheese is melted. Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
What happened here?
I'm
There's
not
like a big pile of mustard right in the middle of the plate. I don't know what happened.
Someone's first day on the job, I'd say.
Okay, yeah. So we got an amateur. Okay, so we put some of these things on.
Yeah.
Now these, you don't make these, do you?
You can make them. I didn't. I tried to just make these dishes something that's really easy people can make. This took us, what, 5-10 minutes to make them. Well, you'd have to boil the potatoes first.
Okay, so like let's say I got a whole bunch of guys coming over, and I say, okay, so here's what we make. So how many, is this going to feed like 30 people? I don't think so, right?
No.
I'd have to make more of them.
Yeah, I would probably say for each person, make 4, so 1 potato per person, really. That should be enough if you have other things.
Right.
If you just had these, I'd probably say for hungry football
so can
fans,
I take a bite of one of these?
Oh, yeah, you can. I was going to put them on a
You're
plate
put them
without
on a plate.
the mustard
See, I was
mat.
just going to, I know, sorry.
Okay.
See, because you're all about the what do you call that? The presentation. Is that what that's what they say, the presentation.
Well, it matters. Your food could taste amazing, but if it goes out and looks horrible on the plate, they're going to already have the idea in their head that it doesn't taste good. So
And what about the opposite? When the food's horrible, but they make it look good?
Does that happen? Better.
It still tastes good.
You eat with your
All right,
eyes
so
first,
I'm going to take a little taste of this. Okay, so get that camera in close and we'll see how that tastes. That was very good.
Good?
It's really good.
You sound surprised about that.
No, I'm not, but when you put it together, it didn't seem like it would be that amazing, and it really is nice.
It's really easy and
so there you go.
delicious.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So are we going right into the next dish, or are we having a break in between?
No, I think we're going to go right into it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no rest for the wicked. Here, why don't I'll take this.
Okay, I'll get
And you
these.
know what? Do we need the microwave again?
We will, yes.
We will. Okay, well, I'm going to put this up here. And then, that is really good, Melanie. That's really good.
Well, thank you. See, this is why I love what I do, when people react like that to it.
Mind you, I have to take some of the credit for this, because I did something, didn't I? Oh, okay.
You can take credit for it, for sure. Okay, so
Okay, so now we're doing something else here. This is okay. Now some of this I've seen before, like the pork. We're using this again.
I'm going to use the pork again and the mustard. Yeah.
So in a restaurant, because you've told me this, you try and sometimes and come up with things that you can use in different dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like kind of a double duty ingredient.
So,
I guess that's when if you're going to make the pulled pork, you might as well use it in 2 different dishes.
we've got a call from Dave.
Oh, from Dave.
Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I am. How you doing?
Not too bad. What can we do for you, Dave? I got a question for Melanie.
Well, I don't really. I was just calling in because you thought I should, and I'm a little bit blind just because I don't have either of those channels.
This is Dave Wolpen.
I'm a New Brunswick foodie, so.
This is Farmer Dave from Creddles.
Yep.
Hello.
There's always food stuff to talk about, though.
Yeah, well, I'm really happy that Creddles is able to stay open. For people that don't know, it's a market in Hampton, and they do so much there. They have their own, I just lost the word, where they cut meat. The butcher.
Butcher.
Yeah.
It's because you're a
We're what I
vegetarian.
call a regionally representative grocery store. So.
Yeah.
A model that shouldn't have to have the word alternative. Anything else, every grocery store should be regionally representative.
It should be.
And so we shouldn't have to use the word alternative. But anyway, someday we won't.
So Dave, you're back now. You're back in business and you're operating your store again.
Yeah, I'm sitting here now. We actually never closed except for the 4 days after our hearing. On the 16th, and that was just because we had emptied the store out, and we were all exhausted. I think I slept 90 minutes that night, and maybe 3 hours a night the whole rest of the week there. So we all just kind of slept for the weekend, put the store back together, and opened back up. But we never really closed. But we spent the better part of 2 months, uncertain of what the next week would bring, and really it was an 18-month battle to turn the business around and set things right.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear that you're back in business. Yes, I know you don't have a TV, so you can't see what we're doing. We're just about ready to wind down with another app. But thank you so much for calling in, Dave. And we're definitely going to have you come down and meet us live and talk on the show about your entire journey that you've been through.
Sure. Well, there's lots to talk about, especially when it comes to, thoughts around entrepreneurialism in New Brunswick and how to support it and how to understand it and how to reduce how many silos there are around the province. Everybody kind of stands alone, lonely at the top, and people have to talk and realize how much we all have in common.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Dave, and we will be in touch.
Thanks, Rob.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that call, Dave. Now, we got to get going because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Let's get working on this appetizer.
Okay.
So what we got here? These are pickles?
Pickles, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you knew this, and well, these used to be cucumbers. Or they're kind of like a cucumber.
Yeah, baby.
But they don't come off the vine like they come off a vine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do I do here? I cut it in half.
Cut it in half, and then just...
It's like what we did with the potato.
Yeah, and then just make slices with it.
Make slices, okay. Hopefully there's insurance here if I do something with my finger.
Keep your fingers... Watch
Am I
your
doing
thumb.
it right? Here, you know what? I'll just keep it right out of there.
No, that's not how.
That's
either.
not how the
no,
chefs
you've got to
do
hold
it?
on to the.
You know what? But I'm getting the results here.
Okay.
No, Lisa. I know you've got formal training, but I've only lost 1 or 2 digits. Okay, there we go. Look, pickles are done. Beautiful.
So we've got some
Beautiful
pickles.
job. Okay, now what?
And then everything else. Oh, we've got ham. I guess we'll have to cut the ham. So easy way to cut the ham.
Yes.
Roll it up.
Roll it up.
And just
do I take all this?
Sure.
Okay, so I roll it up in a roll.
And just do thin slices.
Thin slices.
This is my favorite knife cut because it's so easy. It's called chiffonade. It's the easiest one.
Okay, so I do this the same as I was doing with the pickles. Right? Is this right?
Yeah, a little bit thick, but that's okay.
You know, you could go easy on me.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a television star. I'm not a chef.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. Okay, so we got this. I've done this,
Yeah.
like what you did.
So now we're just going to make the nachos.
Am I supposed to mix those up? I did.
You
You
can.
did. It
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's next?
Instead of chips, I'm using baguette crackers. You can use chips if you want to, but these are really
Like
tasty.
potato chips?
No, tortilla chips like you would use for nachos.
Oh, okay, got it.
But these are kind of like the bread
Okay,
element
so
in
you're
the
doing
sandwich.
it's like a different version.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's your take on it. It's your spin.
Yeah.
Okay, so I take some of these.
Yeah, put some on the plate.
Put some on the plate. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now
So the Cuban sandwich, you know what's in that. It's
Right.
pork, ham, pickles,
Okay.
mustard, and Swiss cheese. So
Okay.
that's what the nachos are going to have on them. So you
Okay.
can put some of your pickles. Actually, the secret to nachos, though, I'll tell you
Yes.
first.
What's the
Put a little
secret?
bit of cheese on before you put your toppings.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the toppings will stick
Because
better.
sorry to keep interrupting,
That's okay.
but I have a lot of questions. I'm a very inquisitive man. I can't help that. But I know that, we only have a few minutes left, so I better stop talking here. But I was just going to say, whenever I get my nachos, I go to a restaurant, a lot of times, like, all the good stuff's on the top, and then you just get these dry nachos on the bottom. Maybe this is why. Okay, so there we go.
Okay. So put some ham on,
Yep.
a little bit of the pork.
Okay, good.
It looks beautiful.
And then just some of this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
And some cheese.
You can spread it around a little more if you want, and then every nacho would have some of the ingredients
I'm
on
done.
it. Yeah.
Looks just like yours.
Okay.
See, I didn't have to go to years and years of school with this Chef Dave character. I can do this beautiful. This is beautiful. Oh, good, the mustard again.
The mustard's coming back out. Be careful with it this time.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Okay.
So just put a little bit on top.
Oh, I get. So
And
now
in
this
the
is
microwave.
what we're doing here, pretty much, is we're making nachos. Geez, I can't even open this thing. We're making nachos, but like with stuff that you would put in a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go. I think I got on there for an hour and 20 minutes. I hope that's not too long.
That might be a little bit
Okay,
long.
now what are you doing here?
I'm just cutting some chives that we're just going to sprinkle on top to make it look prettier.
Okay.
They don't add a lot, a little bit of onion flavor, but it's more for decoration
Okay.
to put on top.
All right.
Okay.
So this is going to go on. Once this stuff comes out of the microwave, we're going to put that on top, and then it's going right out to our football fans,
Yeah.
and we can start watching the Super Bowl game.
Yeah, and that's it. That's pretty easy
Okay.
dish as well.
Okay, so we're going to, oops. Oh, okay, so now, there we go. Look at that. That's beautiful. So now we've got there. Okay, so now I'm going to take some mustard here because this stuff's great. Okay. And then, here we go. Okay. So there's mine, and there's yours.
Okay.
Now you can see they're both identical.
Yeah.
See, they're both exactly the same.
Pretty
In
close.
fact, yeah. And again, this is somebody who's never done this before. And this is somebody who's a trained so-called trained professional. No, I'm teasing. Of course you're a professional. But I think mine looks...
It
well,
looks,
maybe
it
not
looks all right.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I wouldn't eat that, but I think probably the people out in the back will want to. But that looks amazing.
All
It
right.
really does.
There.
I think
And
that
that's it.
looks beautiful. So this is Cuban pork sandwich nachos.
Just Cuban nachos.
Cuban nachos. Okay. Now, how much time have we got left? We're out of time. This show's over.
Oh, wow.
Well,
That
thank
went by
you for
fast.
watching. Thank you, Chef Melanie. This is RobPatry Live, and thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed everything, especially the cooking. I think we did a great job.
Yeah.
You got to come back and do this again.
I will.